So I have here a Anttonen 578 Pro. This is I bought it just a while ago. I have updated the software from the 15 to 16, and I'm gonna do some power tests with different voltage and also some sensitivity tests. I found some interesting bugs when you're having the squelch analog squelch set to off, but I'm gonna come to that later. Uh, for the test setup, I'm using analog channels, of course, because I don't have the equipment to use the digital power. Or actually, I would have, but I'm not gonna look it up at this moment. Uh, the RF cables come from the radio, goes to a 3 dB attenuation, because I don't wanna tease this equipment. Even if it takes 50 watts, it's still an old equipment. I don't gonna say anything about the calibration of this thing. The numbers might be a little bit off. So at the 2 meters channel, first of all, we're getting quite exact on the frequency, at least by this metering equipment. It's calibrated long time ago, so well, it's close enough. We start with 10.8 volts. If you go lower than that, the radio will say it has battery volts too low, and we have 3 dB attenuation, so it's transmit with the turbo power 40 watts, 42 watts about. So the highest power setting at low voltage. When you go up, oh sorry, I'm starting to get tired, sorry about this. When you start to go up in the voltage, let's see to get this in the same frame. If we put the 13.8 that we should be using, we're getting 50, almost 52 watts. And the thing is that when you go low in power, start to go lower in power, it takes quite a while until the power actually drops off. So you still get at 12 volts quite the full power, but again, if you go up in the voltage, pretty much nothing happens. It's a brick wall. Yeah. And this was on 2 meters. Let's go on 70 centimeters. We're getting around 38 watts. And again, when you go up in power, pretty much nothing happens. I mean, in voltage, pretty much nothing happens. But when you start to go lower in voltage, yeah, you start to drop off. By the way, it's if you have some voltage drop in the system, it will transmit with even lower power. Like you can go below 10 volts. Now it's booting. It's quite slow to boot. Yeah, 19. When you go down to 10.8, yeah, 16. And when you go down, yeah, it's still transmitting like 20 watts at 8 volts, but it says it's low on the battery. So if you're having a saggy battery and you need to make a contact, yeah, you can transmit. You can still transmit, but it will drop the voltage and drop the power all the way down to under 8 volts. It's still transmitting if you have a saggy battery. You still have to wait for the voltage to go up to 11 volts, and it shuts down at, yeah, a little bit less than 8 volts. But yeah, the transmit power goes pretty low. About the sensitivity, let's start with the 70 centimeter. The squelch is set at level 1, and when we go up, the squelch should open at somewhere here. We are actually at, oh yeah, I've been playing around with this. Let's go back to the 325. Here we go. Yeah, we have volume. This on 70 centimeters, the squelch is opening. You have to calculate 3 dB more, so at 119. Yeah, 119, and that's quite sensitive. And there is a nice over a dB hysteresis in there for the squelch, and it is a digital. I think it's digital control. Let me see. Yeah. Yeah, it stays open until the actual signal is going down. Yeah. Now this is the thing. It's probably a software bug, and they probably will fix it someday. But I found a bug in here. Let's go to squelch. Turn squelch off. Here we go. We have a lot higher signal strength here, and there is a audible knot in the radio operation. Here you hear it. So there is some kind of like audio guide or something that will behave up, and even if you look on the signal meter, it's not about the test setup, about the test equipment, because you can even confirm the signal is changing in the radio, and it does it both on the 2 meters and 70 centimeters. When the squelch is on, it doesn't do that. Actually, it sounds like when the squelch is on, it would be on all the time. And it does it with both narrow and wideband. So if we go into the settings, channel settings, bandwidth, wide, Yeah, we're getting more. Of course, we're getting more. And actually, in the wide channel mode, it's more sensitive, even with the squelch. That might be because of the modulation. If we put the modulation up to 7.5, like it should be, yeah, we're getting there. But yeah, I'm not convinced with this squelch. It stopped doing it. That should be 7.5. Did I press on something? Yeah. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, that's sensitivity. That's off, completely off. And that's completely on. So you're losing 10 dB here. Is it? Yeah. And it does the thing in also. I can show you on 2 meters also. Analog squelch. So you actually are better off with using the squelch. Actually, no, I wouldn't say that. No, we will have good modulation, yeah. But if there is no modulation, the squelch will open earlier. Yeah. And yeah, let me show it to you on just the meter turn itself off. That's nothing to worry about. Let's go to 2 meters, so that would be what did I go? 145.55 megahertz and set. Maybe we should put on some volume that we can hear something. Let me see, what do I have settings? Do I bandwidth, we are at narrow order, squelch off. here we have the full signal, and there we drop off. Yeah, this is definitely a software bug because we just heard it go below just when we turned off the yeah. Settings, channel settings, bandwidth wide. No, it doesn't do it. Let's put out the 7.5 modulation. There, it does it. Yeah. And wideband should be 25 kilohertz and the narrow should be 12.5. So it should be good to go with these settings. Well, this is the sensitivity numbers. So I would probably, even if you work on narrow channels, you might have a better chance with using a wideband receiver. This is just the relays that you can hear from the attenuator. And if you look at these numbers, you have to remember I have extra 3 dB attenuation in here for the sensitivity. Otherwise, for the sensitivity, it's up there. It's an okay sensitivity. At least, like, I'm not measuring the signal to noise ratio. It's just by my own ear, and I would say it's up there with other radios I've been measuring. So, I mean, the numbers are up there, so it shouldn't be anything special with that. But the disappointment with the squelch set to off is not good. And yeah, I think I might adjust the analog squelch to basically nothing, so it's always open at the number 1 position, and see will it act up on me like it did right now. So that might be a workaround. But for now, yeah, yeah, I have to program this radio also and everything. But yeah, for now it's not looking good for this radio, like the review. But anyway, most of us who's using the radio are not are probably having it in the mobile and don't care too much about the really low signal with the squelch off. So it probably doesn't impact most of us users. But in some rare cases, when you really want to have the contact, opening the squelch will help you out. And yeah, there might be a quick button to basically open the squelch. I have to look it through. But yeah, that's at least with that setting. In the menu settings, turning the squelch off, it's not working like it's supposed to.